Hey guys, OFSREagle here, bringing you a brand new video today. Today I'm going to be bringing you a new type of video called Skill Clinic. And I have a few plans for this. Basically what I'm going to try to do is have a stream with Nova where we go over any type of skill set, whether it be skill jumps, no scopes, sniping, pistol shots, and just take some time to dissect the intricacies of each one. And with this, right now I'm just going to do the first one just as a YouTube video on my channel. And with this I'm joined by Iron Prime, and he is a really good player. He's really young. I think he's 12 years old. He has a really excellent shot. For those of you guys who know me, I'm a good sniper. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to share some sniping tips for those of you guys who want it. So the first thing, let's see. So we're on the rig here. The first things I can think of is sniping isn't just your overall skill with the sniper. It's also about positioning. For this map, let's say the rig. So let's say in this sense it will be a sniper versus sniper setup. I'll also see if I can include some sniper versus like pistol or BR. You know, mainly on most competitive maps, there's one sniper and one person has it and doesn't have to worry about another person having a sniper. But just for the sake of this, I specifically want to go over no scopes, right? I'm not a big quick scoper. Quick scoper is when you zoom in, take a shot, and zoom out. I'm actually not really good at that because I have the Halo 4 set up with paddles, so it's my right thumbstick. But if you have the trigger as your scope, it's a lot easier to zoom in. Here, I'll show you what I mean. See that? That's nuts, right? I personally don't do that, so I do that, right? So, but no scoping can really give you an advantage in terms of getting shots and angles that most people don't expect, right? So the first thing to notice, okay, so he and I, let's say, are shooting, right? What I'm gonna do is try to position myself to cut off his angle of, or his line of sight, but to also make sure I still have one at the same time. It's basic geometry. If I have a line of sight, he has a line of sight. But what I'm going to try to do is make mine unexpected so he doesn't think to look that line of sight, right? Now you'll see I do this little twitch thing. I don't line it up on him when I shoot, right? It's not red when I shoot. It's always off to the side, and then I do this. Well, you see a lot of pros do that too. It's literally snapping. Instead of being on there and taking the shot, I'm going like that, right? And what it is, it's a facet of muscle memory that allows you, that over time you start to get a feel for distance. Just like as a basketball player has a sweet spot if they practice a certain free throw, or but yeah, like free throws. They have this certain distance that they just grind over and over, right? So it's muscle memory then, and they want to line themselves up to that distance, right? Because that's what their body's naturally used to. So when I'm in a sniping battle, I'll try to get myself to a distance that's just subconsciously the most helpful to me. If I go too close, I may not move enough, right? If I go too far, right, I overshoot it. So I can kind of tell that my sweet spot, you know, that's actually a little bit too much. So it should be right about close to there, right? You can tell. So now this distance is what I normally engage people with, just subconsciously. My brain kind of decides, you know, this is a little bit too close. Okay, Iron Prime, go ahead and let's start shooting at each other. Okay, you know, you'll see. I try to see right there. I'm backing up. Right? Even though he was still at that same distance, I came in too close for my natural muscle memory. I backed up, right, to that sweet zone, right? So basically, it's a process of finding your own sweet spot, right? Now, some people it may be a lot closer. It's also over time you learn how to quickly adjust that sweet spot. Everyone has their like natural, this is my go-to, most likely unconscious of it, but you know, you also have to learn to adapt to close-up ones, which you really don't want to be scoped in at this zone. So no scoping is definitely really useful at this zone, right? Okay. Now another thing, I'll finish up this thought. It's really hard to no scope when you're at a far distance, right? So Iron Prime's going to stay right there near battle rifle spawn, and I'm going to be over here. Okay. And this distance is really hard to no scope, right? It's just too much. It's such a fine movement that I need in order to get it. It's just easier to scope in, right? And what that does is you can basically envision it as a no scope, just you're doing the same muscle movement, right? I'm doing that same thing, that same movement, that same distance, except I'm zoomed in. So if I'm too far for a normal no scope, I'll zoom in, and then my subconscious muscle memory for that sweet spot distance takes over, right? Now I'm trying to think. So the other thing I wanted to point out was movement, right? Everyone has this thing called a strafe, right? Iron Prime and I will take out our pistols and start shooting each other. Okay. There's this thing called a strafe, right? Now you saw right there, Iron Prime and I just we went back and forth with our movement, and then we thrusted at the same time. This isn't going to be about this video isn't going to be about thrusting, or strafing, but strafing is how you approach a gunfight and make your movements in such a way that it will allow you to have one unexpected movement to make your opponent miss and allow you to have the final shot to come out on top. Now, the same goes for a sniper, right? Movement is very crucial to a sniper, and I'll show you why. In an earlier, just a little bit ago, you saw me, you know, when Iron Prime moves, I'm going to anticipate his movement, okay? Now he was doing something I didn't anticipate. He kept jumping. He anticipated my process of my cadence of shooting, of how often, at what the rhythm, and he recognized it and did something to counteract it, which he jumped after, right as I was about to shoot, right? Now, okay, so let's go and start shooting each other with snipers, all right? Right there, I had to reload, but I knew that he was going to strafe to his left, right? Ooh, I think I went through it. Okay, so right there, my movement did not allow me to get to minimize his line of sight, right? I stayed in open deck, right? While he did change his movement so that I'm right here. Even though I missed, again, you can see I'm overdoing it. My sweet spot, I wasn't hitting my sweet spot right? Now, what I'm saying about movement is that if you play your opponent, you can pick up a tendency of what they're going to do. What's also most logical, right? So he clambered, I shot him, I knew he was going to drop. Simple as that. It's something that we unconsciously do a lot, right? Now he's going to clamber and then going to drop again, or try to get the high ground. So I anticipate that and bring my reticle to that point before he even gets there, okay? Now in a thrust, this motion here, I'm locked in that motion. I cannot get out of a thrust as soon as I hit it, right? So the moment I see him thrust, I can anticipate to move my reticle just a few feet in front of him, because he's thrusting. He's going to end up there. So that's another big facet to, there's some lag, to the movement. Now you see right there, I no-scoped it, right? I noticed with myself, I can't tell you if it's a good habit or not, I tend to jump when I want to hit a no-scope, right, like that. Don't know why, but it's somehow, for one, it changes my level. Now right there, I anticipated I saw his thrust, I anticipated to go there, but I missed my shot. Okay, so As you see, I tend to snipe. Now you can tell right there, I was way too close. I wasn't bringing my point over enough. Now here, it's very close to my sweet spot. So it's always just like, you'll see a lot of snipers. They don't ever get too close or too far. They kind of stay in this range, especially, and when I mean in Halo 5 specifically, for no scoping. Now, I have a tendency to jump and go from my right side to my left and snipe. It's for some reason really hard for me to snipe this way. I think the reason why is because the sniper is on my right side, so it's really hard to gauge where the enemy is if he's hidden by a sniper, right? Literally on your screen. So if he's on this side, it's easy to see where he is engaging. I'm trying to think. So now another aspect to it is reload times and shooting times, right? The speed at which the sniper fires is not always the best. Is not always the speed at which you want to fire or pull the trigger, right? If I'm just shooting as fast as I can every single time, it's not. It's a cadence that everyone is used to. Who plays Halo 5, they're very used to it, right? So what probably the best thing to do is, you know, two snipers are in a battle. You'll hear this rhythm here. Iron Prime and I are gonna start shooting again. Right? You hear that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that cadence, right? Now, every once in a while, you'll hear one player break cadence, and he'll go on the offbeat, right? It's kind of like music. You know how there's a rhythm? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's very similar to that, but if you hit on the offbeat, it will throw your opponent off. Now, right here, because of the distance, I was scoped in, and now I'm not, right? Now, right here, I'm going to be in cover. But as I was saying about the cadence, it's a little bit like music. You'll hear this rhythm, and good players will catch on to it very quickly and make an adjustment, hopefully make an adjustment before. Now, right there, I'm going to pause my thought. He was clambering, right? As soon as you start a clamber animation, you're stuck to it, right? I saw that and wanted to capitalize and put my reticle where he would end up, because everyone knows that the kind of clamber animation is the exact same everywhere you go, right? So as soon as I saw him clamber, I was going to try to put it there. I missed, but the opportunities still remain. Okay, so with the cadence, a good sniper will try to identify that rhythm before his opponent, right? So that he will change the rate at which he fires to delay it or something like that, or even his strafe. The strafe is very similar. We're gonna start shooting again. Okay. You'll see we're both doing this back and forth movement, right? But as soon as one of us pauses it, the other person's reticle is now messed up. Okay. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna do this back and forth action, right? We're gonna snipe again. Okay, and now Iron Prime is gonna like delay his strafe a bit. Okay, so we're gonna do the exact same thing, except he's gonna offbeat his strafe at some point. Okay, so we're shooting, and you see right there, he was right here. I moved my reticle over there, expecting him to be there, yet he remained there, so it threw me off. So basically, that rhythm that's the offbeat I'm talking about. Now, when you're when you are trying to do it, you try to quickly identify the cadence and rhythm and beat of your opponent, and then try to figure out something to counteract it before he does. Okay, so we're gonna start sniping again. Okay. Now that went through him, but okay. Now right there, I saw him jump and do a thrust back in. I've seen him do that a few times, so subconsciously I expected it. There was a little bit of delay, but when I saw him do it, I brought my snipe back down, and that's how I finished it out. he did it in hopes that of it messing up my shot, right? That thrust back really messed up my shot. I know this is a lot of information to take in. So in terms of no scoping, that is probably the meat of it. There's always more intricacies and things to learn about it. Now the last thing I want to go over is, of course, scoping. Not every sniper no scopes. Snipe Down is notorious for just his scoping in, right? Now, one of the things to remember is that so Iron Prime's gonna stay where he's at. I'm gonna move over to Nest, and you will see real quick when we're sniping, right? I didn't mean to headshot. He's gonna go back to battle rifle spawn. So we're in a sniper battle, right? I don't advise on him. I'm just peeking out of cover. I don't want to give him too much time, right? Now I'm one shot. I do not want to immediately peek back out, because it's just going to be an opportunity for him to shoot me, right? So if I try challenge here, if you remember my top 5 bad habits, poor challenging, this is a case of that, right? Okay, I'm going to stay out because again I have the higher ground, and I came out on top, right? But if he hits me before I hit him, it is foolish of me to challenge, right? Okay, so he. There you go. Okay, so real quick. Okay. So we're in a sniper battle, right? He gets me one shot. Okay. If I go challenge again, right? I'm looking. I'm like, here's another thing I was gonna point out. He moved his position. A lot of snipers go and stay where you're at. A lot of sniper battles where you see this a lot, where it's like this back and forth, peekaboo action, right? Again, there's a rhythm to it, which is predictable. So, we missed. Notice I changed my position only by a bit. Now I'm one shot, right? Right now I don't have a lot of avenues to change my approach, but now he got me one shot. He took a risk challenging, and now you'll see right there he changed his position, right? If you stay in one spot once you're one shot, the enemy, I'll explain it this way, okay? I'm one shot, right? I'm staying behind this. Iron Prime, go ahead and come to bridge real quick. Okay, so he gets me one shot, right? Okay, we're shooting. Okay, he can push. If I stay here, he can push. And here, this is what I mean. Here, you go to that one spot, and I'll go. Well, I'll die for no reason. That'll work too. Okay, so basically, we're here, right? Let's say he doesn't change his position. Guess what? I can now try to change my approach, which then, if he doesn't change his position, I know exactly where he's going to be, right? I'm predicting where he's most likely going to stay. You see this especially a lot in Coliseum. You see these two people like peeking out and stuff, shooting, right? We missed, okay? He got the kill because he anticipated my movement. Now, let's see. I'll show you a better example in just 1 second. Okay, so what I mean is, okay, so we're challenging, right? We're missing, right? I get him one shot. He's gonna try to hide. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my approach to change my angle, right? Now all of a sudden he didn't anticipate me down here, and now we're battling down here, right? You'll see I changed my levels again, which he was still looking down here, expecting me to be in this basement area. But because I changed levels and changed my line of sight, different from his, it put him at a huge disadvantage. So the point I'm trying to make is that when you do sniping, and you're in a little sniper battle and you're one shot, change your position, because or else the enemy who has the advantage will still know you're in that one spot and try to get a different vantage point. If you don't move, it's just an easier kill for him. For right now, I think that's all I can give you guys for a skill clinic for sniping. Hopefully it helps. Let me know, please, what you think down in the comments. I'm trying to help you guys. The one thing I'm good at is snipers, so hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, go ahead and message me. You know, if you want to help, if you want me to help you put into practice what you learned here, I'd be more than happy to. So with that, hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.